understanding different types of Aries and psychology behind them. You know how everyone thinks all Aries are the same? Bold, fiery, always ready to charge into battle? Yeah, not exactly. What if I told you there are actually 3 kinds of Aries, each ruled by a different energy, a different flavor of fire? Same zodiac sign, completely different wiring. That's because every Aries is born under one of 3 decans, and that changes everything about how your fire burns. Some Aries are pure adrenaline, the kind who act first, think later, and somehow always land on their feet. Others, they lead with charisma, confidence, and that larger-than-life energy that fills a room. And then there are the dreamers, the ones whose fire isn't just about winning, it's about meaning. And here's where it gets wild. Modern psychology actually backs this up. The drive, the impatience, the obsession with new beginnings. They're not random personality quirks. They're rooted in how your brain processes motivation, reward, and control. So no, not every Aries is built the same. You've got layers, chemistry, and cosmic timing all shaping your story. Let's break it down. Because once you understand which decan you belong to, you'll finally understand why you do what you do. Core archetype, the Aries mind. Let's start with the foundation. What actually makes an Aries tick? Aries is the very first sign of the zodiac, the spark that starts the entire wheel. It's ruled by Mars, the planet of action, drive, and raw energy. In astrology, Mars represents the part of us that says, go, move, do. It's the planet of courage, yes, but also of reaction. And Aries carries that instinct in its bloodstream. Psychologically, that Mars energy mirrors the dopamine-driven side of the brain, the part responsible for motivation, novelty-seeking, and the thrill of new experiences. That's why Aries people feel most alive when they're starting something, a project, a relationship, an idea. Their reward system literally lights up when they're in motion. But here's the flip side. When things slow down or feel repetitive, that same system turns restless. That's when Aries might start picking fights, changing direction, or chasing a new rush just to feel that spark again. It's not about chaos, it's chemistry. In psychology, this ties into something called Zuckerman's sensation-seeking theory. The idea that some people are biologically wired to crave stimulation. Aries embodies that they're designed to move first and learn through experience later. So, at their core, Aries aren't just impulsive, they're explorers of life itself. The first flame in the dark, testing what it means to exist by doing. First decan Aries, the pure Aries. If you're a first decan Aries, born between March 21 and March 30, you embody the truest essence of the sign. Both your sign and your decan are ruled by Mars, the planet of action, drive, and desire, which means your energy is undiluted, bold, and immediate. You're not just ruled by fire, you are the ignition point. Psychologically, this double Mars influence gives you an intense need for autonomy, the drive to act on your own terms. From a young age, you've probably shown signs of independence, defiance, or a natural urge to take charge. You don't wait for instructions. You figure it out as you go. In psychology, this connects to self-determination theory, the idea that humans feel most alive when they're in control of their own choices. For first decan Aries, control equals freedom, and freedom equals survival. Your motivational engine runs on dopamine and adrenaline, the same neurochemicals linked to risk-taking, excitement, and pursuit of challenge. This is why you thrive in fast-paced environments. Whether it's sports, startups, or any field that rewards quick action and confidence, stillness feels unnatural to you. You're wired to move. But there's a catch. Because movement gives your brain a rush of dopamine, you sometimes mistake motion for progress. The moment that rush fades, frustration creeps in. Not because you failed, but because you stopped feeling the thrill of momentum. Psychologists call this the sensation-seeking loop, described by Marvin Zuckerman, a pattern where people chase stimulation just to feel right. It's not recklessness, it's neurological reward-seeking. On an emotional level, first decan Aries often protect their vulnerability with assertiveness. It's a classic defense mechanism called reaction formation. masking discomfort with confidence or aggression. You're not afraid to lead, but sometimes leadership becomes armor. The real mastery for this decan lies in learning that rest isn't defeat, it's refinement. Mars gives you endless fire, but direction matters more than intensity. Your challenge is to learn when to charge ahead and when to breathe before the next battle. Because when your fire is focused, you don't just start things, you ignite revolutions. Second decan Aries, the radiant Aries. If you're a second decan Aries, born between March 31 and April 9, your fire burns with a golden edge. You're still ruled by Mars, but your sub-ruler is the Sun, the planet of identity, vitality, and self-expression. This gives you a brightness that the first decan's raw fire doesn't always show. Where the first decan Aries acts on instinct, you act with intention. You want your actions to mean something. This combination of Mars and the Sun makes you naturally magnetic. You carry leadership energy, the kind that pulls people into your orbit. When you walk into a room, you don't just take space, you define it. The Sun adds charisma and confidence to your Mars-driven willpower, creating what psychologists might call high-agency behavior. The belief that you can shape your environment instead of adapting to it. But beneath that shine is a subtle psychological twist. Your self-worth often ties to how much impact you make. You don't just want to win, you want to matter. This is where the Sun's influence comes in. The Sun rules the ego, not in a negative sense, but as the part of the psyche that seeks identity and recognition. So when you achieve, create, or lead, it validates your inner sense of self. Modern psychology backs this up through self-concept and performance identity theory, the idea that some personalities build their confidence from visible success and external validation. For second decan Aries, applause isn't vanity, it's feedback that they're fulfilling their potential. However, when that applause fades, doubt can sneak in. It's not that you need others' approval, you just use it as a mirror to measure your light. The danger here is ego inflation, chasing significance so intensely that you forget why you started. In emotional terms, this decan's challenge is to balance pride with authenticity. You don't have to prove your brilliance, just be it. The Sun teaches you that true confidence isn't loud, it's steady. You're meant to inspire, not dominate, to lead, not control. When your Mars passion meets the Sun's self-assurance, you become the torchbearer, someone who lights others up simply by standing in your own fire. Third decan Aries, the visionary Aries. If you're a third decan Aries, born between April 10th and April 19th, you're the philosopher of fire, a soul driven not just by action, but by meaning. You're still ruled by Mars, but your sub-ruler is Jupiter, the planet of wisdom, expansion, and higher truth. That combination gives your Aries energy depth, a restless hunger for growth, exploration, and understanding. While the first decan Aries acts and the second decan Aries shines, you seek. You want your fire to have a why. That's what sets you apart. You don't just fight battles. You want to know what the war is for. For psychologically, this comes from Jupiter's influence, which expands the mind and feeds the drive for discovery. You might find yourself drawn to big ideas, spiritual philosophies, or missions that give your life direction. In modern psychology, this aligns with intrinsic motivation, the drive to act based on internal purpose rather than external reward. Research by Carol Dweck on the growth mindset fits here too. You believe in progress, in learning through failure, and in the idea that every challenge is a stepping stone toward mastery. You're the kind of Aries who's always becoming, never satisfied with staying still, because to you, motion equals meaning. But that same idealism can also become your greatest trap. Sometimes you chase purpose so passionately that you start mistaking excitement for destiny. That's what psychologists call rationalization, turning impulsive choices into lessons before you've fully learned from them. Yet even in those moments, your Jupiter side keeps you optimistic. You bounce back fast because deep down, you believe that everything, every mistake, every loss is part of your story. The key for third decan Aries is discernment. Learning to separate passion from purpose. When you channel that Jupiter vision with Mars's courage, you become unstoppable. Not just a fighter, but a leader who inspires others to find their own fire. You're the Aries who looks at the horizon and thinks, what's next? But unlike the others, you don't just run toward it, you run with a reason. Every Aries carries fire, but how you burn depends on your decan. The first decan acts, the second shines, and the third inspires. Together, you prove that courage isn't one size fits all. It has its own rhythm, its own flame. You are the spark that starts it all, the one who makes life move. So, which type of Aries are you? The doer, the leader, or the visionary? Drop your decan in the comments and tell me if this hit home. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to get all the updates.